These people should not open the door. Babe! Sorry. Let me-
So how to edit? Welcome everyone. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's live session. As we all know, we are going to be talking about everything you need to know about saving, budgeting, and investing. Of course, if you're new to this channel, my name is Ola, and basically what I do on this channel is I talk about personal finance, investing, and the economy. So let me make myself fuller so you see my face. So basically, my name is Ola, and on this channel, I talk about personal finance, investing, and the economy. And today, we're going to be talking about something quite interesting. And it's quite fundamental, to be honest. A lot of people want to invest, a lot of people want to make money, a lot of people hear about transactions and they're all about how to get into it. A lot of people get pulled into investing in stuff, but their basics are not covered. And what are the basics? The simple things of planning your finances, the simple things around when you get money, what goes into what, how much can you really afford to be investing, how do I know how much I can afford to invest? Now, let me give a background. Let me explain what I mean by how much can I afford to invest. So you might have two colleagues on the same level who earn the same amount of money. Let's say, for example, you earn 1 million naira, or let's say your take home pay is about maybe $5,000, right? Regardless of wherever you are in the world. Both of you have different situations. One person might be single, no family burdens, living in their parents' house, car bought by their parents, everything is fine. All that money just goes into their accounts and is chilling. But the other person might have children in preschool, have to pay daycare bills, have to pay off mortgage, have car expenses to pay off, have car maintenance to pay off, have living expenses to pay off, and all. Now, those are two realities. The reality is that the first person will have more money to invest than the other. Now, if you are person number two, right, you can't just say that, oh, I got 5K, I'm going to invest 3K. You literally have to plan. You literally need to know, out of this 5K, this is how much I need to survive, and this is how much I should put away. This is what is important to have right now. And these are things that I can cut out so that I can invest and achieve my money goals. Right. And so today we'll be talking about how to figure it out. And I have someone in the house who is amazing at that. So fun fact is that she's not even a finance person, right? She's just a young babe who realized that, number one, she was good at something, she was good at managing her finances, and then she also realized that there are a lot of people that struggled, a lot of people that earn quite well, that earn more than her, but they actually struggled with managing their finances. And she created tools. She started having conversations with people about and sharing how she does it actually. And so we're going to have Gloria in, and Gloria is already backstage in the studio, and so I'll bring her in right now. Hi, Gloria. Welcome.
I had to unmute my mic. Can you hear me
Okay.
clearly?
Yes, I can. I can. Welcome. So we'll start with you introducing yourself, telling us your background, and telling us how you started talking about personal finance.
Okay. So my name is Gloria Etetim. I currently work in the financial services industry as a head of the communications and memberships, and that's on the side professionally. And I'm very passionate about um, creating content for personal finance content, especially on budgeting, right? So, and I continuously want to like optimize how I spend my money and basically be a better steward, right, of my money. I mean, resources are not resources are limited, right? And you want to really be in a space where you are not spending above your means, right? How it really started is that I actually started living alone at a very early age. That was 16 years. And that's because I had to go to school in a different state, right? And my family was somewhere else. So I started living alone. I wasn't even living in a hostel. I was living alone in like a self-con apartment. And my dad would give me weekly, money to like take care of myself, and that really helped because it made it a lot easier for me to plan. It was on a weekly basis. Imagine that, let's say at an age of 16, you already have the responsibility of managing an amount of, when you are living with your parents, it's like, you'll be taken care of. You have food to eat, they will drop you off at school and all of that. There is, an accommodation and all. But yes, they paid my rent. But then how we got to agree on that amount was he would ask, okay, how much do you spend daily to eat? How much do you spend to go to school and come back, transport, right? So we calculated that, and you would give me that amount that would multiply that by 7, and just give me that amount to carry me for 1 week, right? But then how things come up, and you may end up finishing the money before the time comes, and you have to go and start explaining, oh, and I'm not the only child, I'm one out of 4, right? So yeah, that early introduction to managing my own money to make it enough to make it last, and see me through till the next pocket money comes, really made me should I say become very passionate about money planning, money management generally. And I actually really enjoyed doing it, so it wasn't a case of feeling like a lot of work. I really enjoyed
Mm,
doing it, which is what,
fantastic.
as I grew up, finished school, went for service, I was still living alone, managing my 19,800 allowing and the 10K from PPA, and finished school, came back for to um do my masters. I was still living alone, right? Although my parents like handled the school fees, right? But in terms of living expense, I really wanted to just, I enjoyed being alone and making my own financial decisions. So I would, read up things, look for materials to really
Fantastic.
understand.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Word.
and
Yeah. I love that.
make,
And I really do. Can you hear me?
yeah,
I like the fact, and it's something that what you said is very important. A lot of people um probably started off with that whole my parents are funding me, and when they started work, because there was just this tap that you would just plug,
yeah,
they first of all had to wake up to reality of, oh, that tap, even though yes, your parents have worked ahead of you, for those that had that luxury, so they had that luxury of, okay, there's someone that would always fund me and has made provision for me. But then the truth about it is that some people do not even have that background. Some people were forced to start living on their own and stuff like that. But we'll come to that later. Before we even go ahead, if you're listening in, thank you. I see some people in. Please just drop in the chat where you are listening in from, your name and where you're listening in from. Also know that we'll go into like deeper things. So if you have specific questions around budgeting, please feel free to drop it as we go along. But please, important, just say your name and where you are listening in from. Thank you so much. So we'll go on. So what for me, what are the things that people struggle with when it comes to managing their personal finances? What are the things? Because I know that yes, you are doing it for yourself, and that's fine. But then the reality is that you started doing it for other people. But what did you see that made you think, like in less than 30 seconds, what did you see that made people, that made you feel like, okay, there's a need? What was that gap that you saw?
okay. So first of all, I what I saw, which I actually also experienced, was the fact that you have this money coming in monthly, but you're not sure where the money is going to, right? Even if you're earning like a decent income. I mean, after I started living alone, I was doing some little jobs, and I got a job, and my income was becoming a bit consistent. But you know how the money finishes before 2 weeks, right? And the salary is coming by month's end. So yeah, that is like one challenge. And from my perspective, I think people just, they could even be earning decent income, but they are not able to track. The money finishes before time. They can't tell where the money is going to. Basically, money just leaves their hands, like sand. Then the next thing would be losing money because of poor investing decisions. You know how 1 minute you are balling, the next minute you are broke, and looking for someone to bail you out. Not because maybe you don't have decent income coming in, but maybe you know how maybe there's a new investing whatever out there that people are putting money into, and it's got to your turn, and you probably lose your money. It fails, right? You lose all the money you pumped into it, hoping that you are going to get some good profit out of it maybe in the next few weeks. Then unplanned expenses, right? You know how there are things that are fixed, right? Like, let's say you have a car, you need to maintain the car. You have kids, you need to pay school fees. You need to eat, you need to take care of your health if you get sick. But we do not plan for these things, and they will definitely happen. Like, it's not wishing you bad luck or anything, but unplanned expenses, is another angle I see people struggle a lot, because this thing will definitely come, but they don't like think about it and plan that when it happens, they are able to take care of it, and also like living above your means. I mean, if you don't know how much you can.
Are you there, Gloria? We seem to have lost Gloria. When she gets back, I'll put her in. Gloria, are you there? Gloria, if you're there, you have to. Your screen is a little rotated. I don't know if you can go out and come in. But then I'll while Gloria fixes her technical issues, what I'd say, what she has highlighted are the major issues. She has literally highlighted the major issues when it comes to personal finance, right? One is how much do you really earn? One is how do you manage unplanned expenses? Another is how do you invest profitably? Gloria, are you back? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you hear me? I can't hear you, but I can see you're speaking. So try and connect your audio. So she has talked about how much knowing how much you earn, not overspending. She also talked about investing and losing money or throwing your money away. Another thing that she has talked about is managing unplanned expenses. We're going to unpack each of these things, like how does she actually fix them. But the reality is that the major aim in managing our finances is to build wealth, is to actually build wealth. And how do we build wealth? By investing. But before you can invest, which is something that we all need to know and we all need to be aware of, you need to have cash. Like, yes, sometimes you can use your mental resources, your skills in exchange for equity, but 90% of the time, 80% of the time, you have to invest money, right? Now, what am I saying? You have to be able to gather the money together. That is why we have to talk about saving. You can't, there's where's the money going to come from for you to invest? You want to buy a stock, you think the stock is going to go up times 10, right? You have to put money in. It's as simple as that. So whilst savings might not be something that we like to focus on and we might find boring, but it is fundamental. Financial planning and saving and budgeting is fundamental to you being able to invest, because that is the most important part of the conversation. So now, Gloria, I heard you before you tripped off. So for you, what's your solution? I can hear you now. Yeah. So I know you've created a solution. I want you to talk about it. When it comes to, so I've just explained the process flow, right? You have to be able to plan your finances. You have to be able to say how much you earn. Then when you are able to know how much you earn, how much you can spend, how much you can live on, then you save. And then when you save, you can invest. Now, first of all, before Gloria goes into her what's it called, her solution, right? One of the things I want to highlight is that there are different personalities when it comes to saving and investing. And this personality comes from your innate, how you were born, your wiring. Some people are less patient about numbers than others. Some people are more open to numbers. And for example, Gloria is not a finance person. Yes, she works in financial services, but she's not a finance person. However, Gloria is what's it called? She's committed, she knows numbers, right? She's open to it. But for some people, they might not be that patient. Some people, their cash flows might not be consistent, right? So you need to understand who you are, because personal finance is very personal. Hi, Damnala Karim from CFA Society. Hi, oh, I didn't even acknowledge, I just seen all the chats. Hi, Catherine. from Uyo. Hi, Rafa from Lagos. Hi, Anekan from Uyo also. Thank you for joining in. And of course, please, if you're just joining in also, please just say your name and where you are listening in from. Um, like I said, there are different personalities. And one of the things that I have done in recognizing the various personalities is to create a tool, right? The reason why I'm saying this now is that some people, she has like a budgeting tool that she's going to talk about, but it will not fit everyone depending on your personality, right? So I'm going to drop a link in the chat where you can actually do like a small assessment to know your personality type when it comes to budgeting. If you're someone who is not patient, there are other ways to budget, there are other ways to save, right? If you're someone who is meticulous, then fantastic, go ahead with it. But I'll be dropping it in the chat while I bring Gloria on. Oh, she's dropped off again. So let me drop it in the chat while she's her internet seems to be on a roll today and all. Her internet seems to be on a roll. But basically, I'm dropping it in the chat right now. Confirm if you can see it. I've dropped it in the chat. Confirm that you can see it. Yeah, so you can do that. And then Gloria, the floor is yours, right? What tool do
Okay.
you have and what inspired it in like 2 minutes? What inspired it and then how does it work for people?
Okay. Can you hear me clearly? Okay. The tool is called the Mullah budget planning template, right? What inspired it was, you know how a lot of people, when they think of budgeting, they feel like it's too much work and they won't have time to do it. Or maybe when you budget and plan, maybe you are going to deprive yourself of having fun and all of that. So I wanted to create something that was very automated to a good extent, so that all you really need to do is just plan your budget, then track your expenses. So that those are the two key things Mullah does. So what happens is that as you get your salary or whatever income you are earning from whatever sources, there's a section that allows you to list your sources of income, right? And there's a section that allows you to split the money, right? Decide, okay, how much do I want to spend on this,
Can you hear me, Gloria? Can you hear me? Your screen is rotated for some reason. I can't hear you anymore. I actually can't hear you anymore. Oh, you're muted. Oh, you have to go out and go in. It says your mic is not connected if you can hear me. Okay, Gloria seems to be having some technical issues while we're waiting. So, basically, she has a tool for budgeting, right? Like I said, there's a link I just dropped. And let me drop it again for those that are just coming. Hi, F Young. I see you. Thank you so much. Um, so the first thing is that you need to know how to save. So there are different parts, and it's a journey. There's one part where do you really earn enough to actually invest? Because for me, investing is the goal, building wealth is the goal. So, first step, assess yourself. By the time you have the budgeting tool, by the time you assess all that your income and your expenses, then the next thing you can say is, okay, I actually do not earn enough. If I do not earn enough, then I need to work on additional streams of income. Now, if I say I earn enough, even if it's that in a month I'm able to save 100K, right? Then we can now say, okay, how do we assign the income that I earn to be able to have money saved aside? There are expenses you can't afford to touch, for example your children's school fees, but then there are other expenses like hanging out with the boys on Friday that you just blink and 100K has gone. Things like that you can limit it to once a quarter, you can limit it to whatever, right? You can find more creative ways. Maybe they come over as against going out, because I mean, drinks in the store is different from drinks in a restaurant or in a bar. You get what I mean? But that kind of creativity, it comes from you understanding where your money is actually going to. Now, when you've now saved, the next thing that we'll talk about is, okay, this money that is here chilling, why why should I not leave it in the bank idle? We know inflation. Inflation is the enemy of us all. And we are all seeing it wherever you are in the world. Inflation is a thing. So with inflation as a problem, you know that you can't just leave the money there, because a bag of rice was probably what, 20, 30K, 20K at least, at most, like 2 years ago. But right now, 20K will probably buy you half a bag of rice or even less than that, right? But you get my point. So you now have to invest. You can't just leave the money idle in your accounts, which is something that is very important to understand. So Gloria will come up now and she'll finish explaining about the product. Sorry, Gloria, technical issues, right? Apologies, can be
I'm so
so
sorry.
disorienting.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I had to switch my devices. I hope this doesn't go off again. You can hear me,
Okay, go
right?
ahead. Yes, clearly.
Okay. Okay, so as I was explaining, Mullah makes it very easy. So what you do is you list out your income sources, like you've got your salary, you've got money from your business, you've got money from maybe as a gift or bonus from work. Then you now decide, okay, how much am I going to keep aside for savings? How much am I going to maybe put in an emergency fund or whatever you're investing in? Then you now look at your living expenses for the month, right? And you budget some amounts for the different categories of expenses that would help you survive for the month. So what Mola now really helps in doing is that there's a tracker, right? And you can actually use it on your mobile phone. You don't have to open your laptop to make use of it. So you just need to, put in the amount you've spent on maybe the things you've maybe bought for maybe food or transportation. You would really have to take time to list those things, because even if you're not a numbers person, without actually tracking, you won't be able to just guess how much you need to spend, on different things to survive in a month. So even if you don't enjoy maybe always constantly tracking, writing down all the details, you could just do it for like a month or 2 months to give you an idea of the average amount you spend, say, on your bills, on entertainment, on maybe feeding, or on transportation. So Mula automatically calculates all of this information. But once you put in the numbers, it calculates and shows you, so you can tell, okay, in June I spent 50K on food, I spent 30K on my bills. It just makes it very easy for you to adjust, know what to cut down on, know what to increase. And then, I mean, if you're not tracking, how are you able to, how will you know what to reduce or increase on, in such a way that you're able to keep aside some money to save at the end of the day? Because the tracking really just helps you make lifestyle changes, right? So that at the end of the day, you are able to keep aside some money to save and, invest, hopefully.
Fantastic. So I see that people are filling the link on assessing yourself. So let me break it down a little bit. So Gloria has talked about a budget, and what she's saying is very valid, right? The truth about it is, before you make decisions, even at work, like, you have to look at data. You have to see what the actual trend is. To be honest, sometimes we don't even quantify how much you spend on data. We don't quantify how much you spend on food at work. We don't quantify how much you spend on taking cabs. And there are things that, if we actually stop to quantify, we might actually make different choices. Because, I mean, by the time you think about it, if taking cabs is costing you more than your total bill for food, for living, everything in a month, there's nobody that will tell you that I need to start getting creative. I need to start hitching rides. I need to start going in twos or going in pairs, or do you get splitting bills? Do you understand? So, but information actually helps you make an informed decision,
And
right? Which is,
right.
sorry,
So
can you
if
hear
I
me?
if I want to just quickly, yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, to quickly add to what you just said, most of the times it's not like the big budget items that really just sweeps us, off of the track completely. It could be little things that you like, the little ones, they kind of add up, because as you're spending this money, let's say, oh, today you pick quick lunch from Chicken Republic, or this weekend, thank God it's Friday, you go for pizza, ice cream, hang out with the girls, with the boys. like little fun things, right? It doesn't look like a lot, but by the time you put it together, it's like paying for your data subscription. Maybe there could be monthly plans or maybe quarterly plans that you could actually subscribe to that would help you save money, right? But you are doing it in bits. I when I hear people say, okay, they're buying data weekly, even though you think, okay, you can't afford to buy monthly data, the truth is that if you buy it weekly, you still end up spending the same amount of money. So why not really sit back? By the time you've tracked and known how much you've actually spent on data, you could be surprised that you've spent much more than you would have spent on, like a bulk purchase for 1 month or for a quarter. So yeah, that's what I wanted
Fantastic.
to add.
Fantastic. That's very good. So I've seen that people have filled the forms, filled the assessments. One thing I need you to highlight, and I'll probably post a YouTube video that you can check out later, and I'll put in the description box because the replay will also be on my channel, right? Is there are different money saving methods. The major reason why you are trying to budget is because you need to save. The major reason why you need to save is because you need to invest. You can't eat all that you have and expect to grow. So think about the whole money situation like you have a fruit. Think of an apple fruit. There are different dimensions to it. You buy an apple, right? You eat the fruit, right? You eat everything. You have the seed left. You can throw the seed away, or a farmer will see that seed as the future of his apple plantation, right? Now, a farmer picks up that seed, or you stack up all your seeds, and you are first, are you in an area where you can grow apples? That's a problem. If you're not, then forget about it. Go and look for how to sell those seeds to someone else, right? But if you're, for example, in an area where you can plant apples, you plant apples in your garden behind you. What happens? In a couple of years, you have a massive tree that produces apples every year. That is the idea of investing. Now, if you do not recognize that seed in your hand, if you don't even gather the seed, first of all, that's even a problem. If you put the seed in the wrong environment, so think about it, the seed in this context is your savings. If you save and you don't put and you leave your money in idle in your account, think of it like that seed, just leave it on the counter. Heat will dry it up, maybe ants can turn it into something, it will just disappear after a while, right? That is the same way, same that happened to you if you leave money idle in your account. Inflation will help you eat it up. But you now decide to invest it, right? You now decide to invest it. That is you planting your seed. If you put it in the right environment, in the right soil, which is about your talking about your investment decisions, right? You can say that maybe financial markets, equities are good generally, right? So, but the environment might not be good, meaning that if the global economy is in a recession, equities might not be viable right now. However, if you think about it, that okay, it might not be good right now, but it's a seed. In 4 or 5 years, it will reap fruits. Then your thinking is different. But the ability to gather that seed is the most important part. That is the primary thing that is within your control. And you need to start thinking about what am I doing with the seed in my hand? Am I eating it? Am I throwing it away? Am I dashing people? Am I turning the apple seed into smoothie, or turning it into some new facial thing like that will make my face glow when in it is a massive tree that can still get my face to glow and still have more for the future. Do you understand? So this is the mindset that we need to have. Now, Gloria has talked about um saving, like budgeting, right? Gloria, what do you think has been people's major challenge to actually saving, right? In terms of, so yes, there's mindsets. If you want to understand what I mean, like there's mindset, there's lack of knowledge, but when it comes to lack of knowledge, what are the things or the myths that people have, that makes them not do what they should do?
Okay, I think the first thing I actually have observed is, spending the money before thinking of saving, right? You know how, let's say, because you don't know how much you need to survive in a month, you decide, okay, let me just, take care of the bills. You know how salary could come in and you transfer before you know it, the money is almost finishing, right? So I know, yes, it is important. You actually need to track so that you have an idea of how much you're going to spend. in a month to survive. But after you've gotten that information, you need to, going forward, once any income comes in, let it be like an automatic thing, right? Take out an amount and be very realistic when setting budget. You can't, for instance, earn, let's say 300K, you are living in Lagos and you want to save 200,000. If you are being honest, especially if you're like living alone and you are taking care of all your bills, nobody's supporting you, you need to be realistic. Don't do what will choke you, in the future. So I think we usually have this mindset, okay, let me just take care of the bills. Things will keep coming up. Family will always need help. Friends may need help. Your things will always come up, right? So I think we need to prioritize taking aside. Of course, you know how much you need to survive in a month, but first of all, before you start splitting the money, keeping aside an amount that you want to save, a realistic amount. It doesn't have to be too much, but the important thing is being consistent, about it. So I think that's like the biggest challenge I've noticed, spending before saving. So do it the other way around, save before you spend. And I mean, if you have financial goals or life goals, or let's say you want to take a vacation at the end of the year, you want to buy a new car, you want to change your phone, those are things you know will happen. You don't wait till the time and you maybe carry 1 month's income and put into something. A way to do it is to save money in bit sizes, right? And just keep it aside every month. You keep aside a chunk, and it makes it possible to be able to achieve whatever you're trying to do, or be able to take that vacation at the end of the year. Another challenge I've noticed is, there are people who, maybe let's say, they are not salary earners, right? Their income is not very consistent. Like, you're not setting up a paycheck at the end of the month. It depends on maybe how you're able to scale your business to make sales. So people use that, my salary is not consistent. How am I supposed to plan? Even if your salary is not consistent, your needs, right, are very consistent, because you need to eat, you need to survive. There are things that you need to live in it. Like, you can't be homeless, right? So even if your salary is not consistent, still having an idea of how much you need to survive will make it easy, because that way you can plan, okay, weekly, in a week, how much do I need, so that maybe when that first paycheck comes in, you are already thinking beyond this week. Okay, you are uncertain of, in fact, if your income is inconsistent, you need this budgeting thing most, and you need to be able to save money the most, because you don't know when the next paycheck is coming, right? So inconsistency shouldn't be an excuse, because truly you have needs that you need to take care of in order to survive. So that's another thing I think we can do better with.
Fantastic. I was just trying to type some of the things that you were saying so
Yeah.
people would see it.
Okay.
First thing is,
Okay.
I love the fact that you mentioned inconsistent income. Um, in the tool that I just shared, there are three methods that I recommend. An actual budget, like a budget, which I would recommend if you are someone that is inclined to that, because there's also a part of having a fantastic solution, but then there's a part of you being able to stick with that kind of solution
Yeah.
based on your personality.
Yeah.
So I recommended three methods: actual budgets, like Gloria is providing a solution for, percentage of income approach, where from whatever you earn, you put out a percentage, and it is particularly good for people with inconsistent income. We are talking not just about spending, but spending and then saving. So, for you to be able to save when you have inconsistent income, your expenses are planned, your expenses are fixed. Like, you have rent, you have this, you have that, right? And even the things that are variable will probably be tied to your revenue, meaning, um, for me to maybe deliver this to this customer, it will cost me transport or delivery or whatever, right? Things like that. So you can manage both the variable and the fixed, but the fixed things like rent and stuff like that, they are, you can plan for them. But what happens is that the thing that tends to suffer is saving, because there's no clarity on how, like, what should I be pulling out? Like, a salary earner will say, I earn 1 million, I save 200K, let's rest. Right now, so what I recommend for that person is you save a percentage of your income. Start with something logical. If it is just 5%, when you make 1 million, you save 5% of it. When you make 10K, you save 5%. Whatever revenue that comes to you, you save a percentage, right? Um, I will do, there's a video I'm going to post up. I'll post a link for you guys to check it out. It actually breaks down the three methods, the pros and the cons, because each of them have pros and cons. Because, for example, the guy that makes 1 million and he saves 5%, when he makes 2 million, you save only five, but he could live on 950K or whatever before, or 900K before. Why are you increasing your expenses as your income is
Money.
going up? Do you understand? So for that person, you will now recommend a capped expense approach where I know how much I need to spend and I cap it. That's what I move out to spend. The rest goes into savings. So what I'm highlighting here is there are different methods, but there are solutions. Don't say my own is different, my own is special. There's nothing that is happening that is new under the sun. Do you understand? So you
Mm-hmm.
have to sort of understand that. See, if I'm struggling with saving, somewhere in the midst of it is either that I'm not managing my finances well, or I'm not even earning enough. And if you're not earning enough, there's no point. Go and look for additional streams of income. There's no
True.
magic, no magic to it. This is a season of side hustles. See, Gloria is here. Gloria has a 9 to 5. Gloria is selling something to us, right? That is totally unrelated with her 9 to 5, like no
Mm-hmm.
correlation whatsoever. But she has a skill, she has something that she realized that she could do. She has packaged it into a product that would help you, that is giving you value, if you get what I mean. So that is one thing that we also need to bear in mind. There are different methods. I would shortly post the video and I'll put it in the description if you want to watch the replay so that you can watch it and have a full view. We would also get Gloria's link for you to download the Mullah project, Mullah budgeting plan, right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So once you do that, once you recognize that, okay, I've done the assessment and I'm a detailed budget person, please just go ahead and patronize Gloria and help your future self. Amen. Is you're not doing it for anybody, but you're helping your future self. But one thing that Gloria said that I want to reiterate is that when you have inconsistent income, you are the one that needs to save the most. Because if you live on 500K and you make 1 million today and 10K tomorrow, if you spend all the 1 million, your eyes will be very red. Right? So you have to bear that in mind and be a little responsible. Um, and Anekan says here, our needs are consistent. It's really interesting to learn that we can always save in bits and work something from whatever we earn. Yes, that's very true. Um, Saving in bits, I'll come and talk about that shortly. And then Damila is talking about trying to keep up with the Joneses. That is a real problem. And everybody says they don't. That is the first thing. If you say we are trying to go, say, no, I don't. I am my own self. I believe in what I'm doing. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing me. It's a lie. If you have 100K and you know that that's all you have to live on, and you spend 100K partying, you are keeping up with the Joneses. Just take it like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about what you think of yourself. It's actually what your actions are showing or telling us. And it's very, very important. Now, coming to Anekan's statement on bits. Gloria, can you talk about that? People sort
Yeah.
of disdain what they have, right? They actually disdain what they have. They think, oh, I can only save 5K. So I want to hear your thoughts around that. So, some people say it's only 5K I can save. So what's the point? So what do you have to say
Okay.
about that?
So I'm actually very excited about this particular question because I'm going to talk from a very practical point of view what we are currently doing for my family. Imagine that we want to, let's say, move to a bigger apartment, right? And it would probably cost more money, or maybe buy a new car, or should I say buy a new phone, or maybe buy a land or something, or it could be something as little as saving for maybe an MBA, right? And you don't want to empty your bank accounts, to travel for maybe an MBA, right? So what we do, right, there is what we call sinking funds. When I posted something on my Instagram, people were asking what is sinking funds, and I had to explain that. See, it could be anything you want it to be there, but the idea is that you are saving in bits for a big purchase, right? So instead of taking out money at once to maybe buy a phone when you know that your salary is even lesser than the amount you need to buy a phone. Why pick out one full, that take out that money all at once? It's a lot easier for me. Let's say I want to get a new laptop. I could start and say, okay, I could say, okay, I'm going to get it in 6 months. All right, every month a salary comes in, I'm putting aside maybe 20K, 30K, whatever amount I'm comfortable with, so that in 6 months' time, I have enough. And by the time I take out that money to pay for that laptop, I'm not going to feel it. I won't feel it. It won't be like it's like generally for everything we buy, we plan. We never just wake up and do anything on impulse. So your salary might be little, right? And you might be saving not so much, but I mean, that's just your own financial situation. So saving 5K every month, it accumulates. If you look at it, it actually accumulates, right? So if you save it for like 1 year, just try it. Just try it. There's no, harm in trying it. Try it and see the money would accumulate, and it would be meaningful to do whatever you wanted to do with. I know Ola talked about inflation and losing value by just keeping money aside, but I know that there are some money saving platforms, where legitimate platforms where you can earn little interest, right? So what we do, for instance, is that even the sinking funds that we are saving to maybe buy maybe a land, for instance, we're not going to just let me not say land, let me say something easily relatable like a laptop. I don't have to keep it. I'm not going to keep it in my living expenses account, so I don't take it out to eat pizza or buy ice cream. Right? I keep it in a separate platform, where a legitimate platform, where I'm earning some little interest on that money I'm saving towards the goal of buying a laptop. So yeah, money, it grows. It grows. You could think it is very little, but in a matter
Money
of a few
grows.
months,
Yeah.
you'd be
Money grows.
surprised. Yeah.
Money actually grows, and it's very true. And one thing I always tell people is, um, if all you have is 5K, that's all you have. The moment you disdain what you have, you are actually trying to keep up with the Joneses, because you are actually comparing what you have with what the next person does. Just take it like that. So, one of the things about personal finances is that you have to be real with your own personal situation. That is why it's called personal
Okay.
finances, right? Um, and I tell people, if you have 5K, that's what you have. The ability to respect the ability to respect what you have is very, very important for it to grow. Because if you don't respect what you have, see, if 5K, if let's say you earn 500K, and for whatever reason, your life expenses, family, black tax, everything, all you're able to save every month is 10K. I put it to you that when your money increases to 1 million, if you do not know how to respect that previous 10K, you might not be able to save 100K. The
Sure.
best you can do might be 20K, or even that same 10. But the ability, and I learned this thing in university where I had all my bills covered, and then mom used to give us like token amounts. It wasn't really anything tangible. And apart from the fact that house was close to school, and so she would randomly drive by with food, and we had food stuff. So really, really need cash. But I remember that I used to save 100 naira a week. Okay, yes, it's not relatable right now because 100 naira cannot do anything. But
Cannot
this
buy
was
any.
like 2003. So in a month, maybe I'll probably save like 500 naira. But then that was when taking a cab from Lagos, from Yaba to the island, was like 100 and something naira, right? I sound old, right? But it's not that old. It just shows how things have gone in this country, how it has gone, right? But what am I saying? I was the one that never used to take bus, because I could fund. I knew there's some things I did not need stress for, and it was just because I was keeping away something tiny. So the few times I wanted to go out of school, when everybody is saying, they just know that if Ola is coming with us, we are not taking bus. Because I'm like, what is all this for that I'll now be stressing myself jumping bus? Like, that was just me. What am I saying? Little things matter. You have to be able to respect whatever it is that you can do. Because as long as you are working, right, there's something you can do. If it's 1,000 naira, please put it aside. The truth about it is 1,000 naira can be your meal. Like, if you're broke, just think of when you're broke and you find 1K inside your pockets.
Joy.
The joy. Yeah, that just tells you that as much as 1,000 naira might not be anything in the scheme of things, there's a point where having that 1,000 naira is a miracle. It's like an angel dropped it for you, So don't disdain the little that you have. Because another thing also is that you know that that 5,000 naira that you have in a whole year, 5 times 6, that's about what? 60K saved up. Do you know that if you go into an investment that gives you times 10 in 3 years, let's say you do some random transaction with a friend and gives you times 10 in 3 years, that 60K has become 600K. But if you did not put the money in, there's no times 10 to come. No chance. Right? And if you're just joining, I gave a scenario about an apple and all that, I think I would actually cut it out so people can actually listen again, because it is important to have that mindset when you are dealing with your finances. The little things matter.
And there is something about stray cash coming in. Well, I'm calling it stray, not like it to just fly into your hand. But you know how you set up your budget for the months, and maybe you've sorted out your salary, you know what you're doing for what. Then, side cash income comes in, and you want to just put it back into flexing, or the next thing you are going out to, maybe eat out or something. I mean, we take such opportunities as an opportunity to actually save money. So if, like I talked about saving for a laptop, if I've sorted out my account for the month, then maybe I get to do something, or maybe I make a lot of sales from Mullah and money comes in. I'm not going to just blow it, right? Because thank God, I'll just look for, okay, where can I put this money from all of my savings, right? Where can I top up? What can I top up so that the money, it makes it I can reach my goal, faster. So I'm not going to think, oh, because some stray money came in, I'm going to, just flex the money or have fun with it.
Fantastic. I love that. And it's very valid. And Anyekan is making his statement or asking the question, will I have to create separate bank accounts to deal with different things I want to buy? I personally recommend having separate bank accounts for different purposes. Now, the truth about it is that at least with GTB, you can open sub accounts from your internet banking platform. So it doesn't have to be far,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't have to be far. The reality is that if you are struggling with your personal finances, putting everything in one account is not going to work.
Disaster
It's
these
not
days.
going to work. Like that's like that, like especially if you are someone that's personally like your natural integration is there's cash, let's spend it. One of the things you need to do is to find a way not to see the money. There's a psychological part to that. So it might not be separate bank accounts like separate banks, but it could be separate accounts like I spend from my current account. I save into my savings account. I have I have like a pool account. Like this saving, there's one saving that goes into um long-term investments. There is one account for saving for projects, meaning that okay, I want to go on vacation in July and maybe this is January. I'm going to put in away money for tickets. I'm putting away money for where I will stay and blah blah blah. Right? At least those three can give you some sanity,
Yeah.
right? But if you are struggling with managing your finances and personal discipline, don't just try that whole one account for everything. I know people that it works for, but it's because they are very disciplined. They actually look at a sheet or an app before they spend money. And as they are spending, they are reducing. If you're not that kind of person, then use technology to your favor. That's what technology is about. It doesn't cost you anything. See, you open bank accounts for friends. Do you understand? Because they just say, I need to open 20 accounts, right?
Yeah.
Do you
So
get? So I mean, if you've done that, then why don't you use them? Do you get? We're going to say something.
in addition to what you just said, talking about a practical example of what we do when, let's say for young families, I mean, we are hope it's not this is not just for young people, it could be for married people. By the time we consolidate our income for the month, right, we know how much we need to survive in that month, and we have a separate account for living expenses, and we have two debit cards for the accounts. One is for my husband, one is for me, so we spend from there, right? We have a separate section for car maintenance money. So if the car breaks down or we need to, change the tire. We don't have to go running or looking for where to find money. That is already sorted. Then there are platforms. I'm not going to mention any name, but there is a platform we use where you're able to create labels, right? So once the money comes in and we move aside the living expenses, what we do is that we separate. We are saving towards maybe we have an emergency fund. We are putting money there. We are saving for our child's education. We are saving money for end of the year vacation, or whatever things you're saving money for. We just create separate labels, so all of the money is not in one place. So let's say, and we have an account for black tax, right? Just support for our family. So if maybe we supported, and maybe something comes up and we're not able to afford it, it is not like a dire need.
Life or
Like
death.
we
Yeah.
try to explain that, please, my family, like my siblings, they know, if like my younger sister, she knows that if she wants to bill me, she has to come at a certain time when I'm planning, not when I finish planning. You think I'll break my savings to do something that doesn't look very important to me? I'll tell you, please hold on, I'll support you, but not now, right? So yeah, separating the money, splitting it into different, so that anytime we see the money, oh, this is for this is for
Yeah.
that. You can't touch
Yes.
you.
Fantastic. And it's also very important to understand that life happens. Life happens from different perspectives. Life happens from the fact that you can be so busy at work that you don't really have time to be disciplined. So if you've not created a system that works already, you are more likely to wake up like 3 4 months after and realize, I did not save, I did not invest, I did not do this, and then there's guilt trip, and then there's, oh, Ashwabi just came up. Oh, life actually legitimately happens, and that's even apart from like the real life issues of things like health, health emergencies and things like that. And these are things that we also need to prepare for. If your organization doesn't offer you health insurance, there are actually affordable health insurance packages these days, right? Especially for your parents. Especially if your parents have a health situation, there is no way you're not going to scrape. You see all those labels that Gloria is giving us right now. If
Yeah.
anything happens and they say this is the only place, this is the only chance we can have to save this person, let us understand that we're going to gather that money together. When
Yeah.
there's life, there is hope. So if you can pay for things like health insurance, right? Truth about it is that even if it's just your routine checks annually, the money you pay for health insurance, you will collect it back, right? At least even if it's just local health insurance, you will collect it back, meaning that you will go for, by the time you do checks, by the time you do one medication, get glasses, all those things for your parents, you collected the money back. So things like that. So one of the things you need to think about is actually planning. It might sound serious because as Gloria was talking, I was feeling sorry. If somebody is not really a planner, the person will be like, oh my god, where am I going to start from? But the truth about it is that it's something that you do subconsciously. If you are going to go on a vacation with friends, what would you do? You break it down. How much is tickets? Where are we going to stay? How many trips are we going to go for? How many locations are we going to go to? Like how many of these parks or whatever? It's the same planning. Do you understand? It's just that for our personal finance, we really do not stop to think like that. And it's something it's important that we do because the vacation is over. You come back to reality. Being broke is not fun. You understand? Being broke for the for the remaining 11 months is not really a goal. Like we can try to do better. And it's on and when I put up this video link on LinkedIn, I read out some statistics. I wrote out some statistics that data has shown that the ability to manage finances well, the skill in managing finances well, is a better predictor of future wealth than how much you earn. So you think of a boxing star or a footballer or an artist, he blows, he makes 100 million on one deal, signs $100 million on one deal, blah, blah, blah. And 2 years down the line, he's filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
He ate his seed. Simple. It wasn't that much about how much he earned, it was how he managed what he had. It's as simple as that. Um, sorry, I see a Kemi newbie's question. What do you mean by because can you expatiate on this? Because everybody wants to
If
money.
I
I'm not
broke,
just
now my business is like a song. If I broke, now my
I
business is
know, but then the end of it is stay away from
away
stream
from
money,
my street
please.
money.
That's the part I don't understand.
I think she's making jokes.
Uh-huh.
Like
No, we,
how
we, we like
street
stream
money comes
money.
want to flex it. No, okay, when you flex your money, you flex your stray money.
I was going to ask, what would be your approach to handle emergency funds? Um, so you have to profile what your emergency funds are for. If your emergency funds are for healthcare, please go and get health insurance instead of putting away
Yeah.
money for emergency funds for that. Because the reality of healthcare is that healthcare, I don't know how much you want to put in emergency funds for you to cover a major health situation. Health insurance is like a better investment for that. And you just have like in your budget, your annual payment for health insurance if your organization doesn't cover you, or for your parents, because most parents will like maybe retired and they might not have that, or they may running their own businesses, or even encourage them to pay for it if they can afford it. Show them the benefit. It doesn't need to have to come from you, because they might also be able to afford it and they might see the value. Do you get? So I hope I answered that. But then for other emergency funds could be like your tire is bad, right? And you need to change, you need to buy a new one. Your car goes bad, the carburetor needs to be changed. They're telling you 400K. Do you understand? Truth about it is that if you have like one 500K, 1 million sitting down somewhere waiting for that emergency, it might not be sitting down, it might be something that you can easily convert to cash, like a fixed deposit or something. It's still earning money, but it's not in equities where equity can be up or down, right? So it's just to have that money, that something that you did not plan for, but that is a necessity, comes up and is actually a necessity. Because I know I've had people come to me to say I should give them money to take their girlfriend out. And I looked, I'm like, wow, wow, wow. One
How
of my
nice.
younger cousins, I looked at him and said, oh, that's interesting. I was not thinking, so a guy is toasting me and he doesn't really have money. He's going to go and meet his big cousin to come and spend money on me. I'm like, wow, that's such an interesting call. Well, I think we just be going from this place. You didn't even say you were hungry. You would have even told me you were hungry, I'd have dashed you money. But to take somebody out, it's not me and you.
You
But
know, the way people look at emergency funds is that, you know how, for instance, people don't like doing maybe life insurance, car insurance, because God forbid, a bad thing cannot happen to me. So another way to look at emergency funds is that, let's just say God forbid you lose your source of income, right? And you need something to fall back on for a few weeks, for maybe some months. So the emergency fund you've saved, you've kept aside, can take you through. God forbid you lose a job. Like, yes, we are very spiritual. We don't pray for bad things to happen, but bad things can happen. They do happen. So having some sort of backup, so that if something, it may not necessarily be losing your job. It could be a family emergency. It could be, basically something you've not planned for, because you cannot plan everything, right? So that is why you have an emergency fund, so that when something happens that you did not plan for, you don't go breaking maybe your savings or breaking an investment account to handle it. You just fall back first on your emergency fund, use that to sort out whatever little issues are coming up, and go back to living your best life.
your best life.
Rafa is saying, please explain sinking funds.
Yeah,
Do you
you can
mind
go
if
ahead. Yeah, you
okay.
can go ahead.
Okay. So, like I said initially, sinking funds can be what you want it to be. It's basically saving small amounts of money towards a big purchase you intend to have. So, like I said, instead of maybe your phone is bad, you want to buy a new phone. Maybe you maybe some heavy money drops into your account. You won't just whisk it out to buy a new phone that is expensive, let's say about 200 to 50K, if that's the kind of phone you're using, right? So you would maybe, a sinking fund would be putting, like, creating a category of fund where you are saving maybe 10K or 20K over a period of time, so that when you want to buy that phone or laptop, you're able to take out the bulk money. You won't feel it. So it could be for anything. It could be for things like saving towards maybe your child's school fees, or getting a new car, or paying your rent. So the idea of sinking fund is just saving small chunks of
Yeah.
money, so that you can spend the bulk at a particular time, as
Yeah.
opposed to taking it out all at once.
At once, yes. So the basic thing about the sinking fund is just saving in bits, planning ahead, knowing that okay, I want to achieve this thing. So to show you how it really works. So when a bond, a government borrows an amount of money and say they're going to pay it back in 5 years' time. From the day they issue that bond, they create a sinking fund. They would have divided how much they're going to pay back plus interest over the 5 year period every month, and they'll be putting the away small, small. Why? So that the day that it's time to pay, they'll just go to that account, gather the money together, and pay back. So it's easier, it's less strenuous for everybody. So it's the same mindset of, okay, I need to have 100K for this thing in 5 months' time. It means that I should be saving 20K every month. Not that in the fifth month, I will now be looking for how to pull out
Um,
100K
yeah.
from my salary. So, and then 20K might be easier for you, or 20K might be too tough. So you say, okay, let's move it forward. Instead of 5 months, let's move it to 10 months away, right? And be doing 10K. And if random money falls on your head, money fall on you, and you can get it faster because you already have something that you're going towards. You already know, okay, let me pick this, let me use to shock this and let this conversation be over. Um, One thing that we did not mention that I wanted to highlight is actually having goals, actually defining what you are trying to achieve.
True.
The reality is that a lot of people do not spend wisely because they have not set money goals. It's as simple as that. And please, if you're just joining my channel or watching, I forgot. I should be telling you, please subscribe, please subscribe. Thanks as you subscribe. I forgot. And Gloria, if you can drop your handle on social media so they can follow you also, that would be good.
Okay, I'll do
But
that.
yeah, but my point is you have to set goals. If you are in Yaba in Lagos, for example, and you call a cab. In fact, before you can call an Uber, you put your destination. It's your destination that will determine the route, that will determine the cost, that will determine the time it will take you to get there, right? But I realize that for a lot of people, their money future is very vague. It's I want to be a billionaire. It's not defined. Of course, everybody wants to be a billionaire. But are you willing to do what it takes to become a billionaire? Do you even know what a billionaire looks like? Billionaire in what currency? How do you plan to get there? Do you understand? Billion is just a number. It's just a number, right? It's an account balance. But do you know that half of the people, or more than 90% of the people that they say are billionaires, is not because they have 1 billion in their accounts. It's because they have assets that have been valued to 1 billion.
What's
So
that?
yes, are worth 1 billion. So the question is, where are you going to with your money plans? The moment you decide where you're going to, then even the whole be disciplined takes a new meaning. The whole be consistent takes a new meaning. It gives you strength to run the course, if you get what I mean. If you are going from Yaba to Aja and it's going to take you 1 hour 30 minutes, you can't have spent 15 minutes on the road and you're saying, why is it taking so long? Do you understand? Or if you are going from Lagos to Abuja, it's 9 hours. You are going to and you're going by road. Just rest. It's when it has reached the ninth hour and you are still in the car, then you can now start saying, what's the problem? Right? But the reality is that even in that journey of 9 hours, life happens. You will stop by the restroom, you will stop, you will buy fuel, you will top up, there'll be traffic, blah, blah, blah. But you are on the journey and you are sure that if I go on this road straight, I will get to Abuja. But if you have not defined your destination as Abuja, how do you know you're on the right track? So there are videos. The reason why I remember subscribing to my channel was the fact that there are videos on my channel that talk about goal setting, that talk about how to save, and talk about how to invest. Right? All these things come together. Today we've talked about managing your personal finances, right? But the reality is that managing your personal finances is for you to meet a goal. Gloria has talked about breaking things down. Okay, we are trying to achieve this. We are trying to save for our children's education. We are trying to do this. We're going to do that. It's because they've decided, oh, I want my child to go to a private school. How much is private school? This per annum. Do you get? I want them to go to a boarding school in the UK. Pounds, naira. Okay, we have work to do. Do you understand? But one fundamental thing, I don't know how to reiterate it enough, is you need to set goals. You know, when they say smart goals, go and look for it online. When they say specific, measurable, blah, blah, blah. Like it's not just I just want to be rich. I
Yeah.
just want, no, it's not that. It's that I want to have one house in the UK. This. That. My children will go to this type of school. This is how much it costs. Blah blah blah. And just to put it out there that I do have one-on-one sessions where I walk you through from managing your or putting your personal finances together to the point where I create an investment strategy for you. So your investment strategy is like your roadmap from where you are to where you should be going to. So in that, we'll decide on how much you should be saving monthly or what your earnings goals should be. So the kind of job you should be changing to, because setting goals will tell you whether I need to change jobs, because the job might be fine, you might be having fun, you might like the good environments, but if this job is not taking you where you're going to and you can't do side hustle with it, you need to recalibrate. But your goals is what's going to tell you where what you should be doing. We'll take this final question before we call it a day, and I'll ask Gloria to give her last words. This saving in dollars, please talk about it. Is it for everybody? Saving is saving, whatever currency. I will not say it is for everybody or not. It is if you decide to save and you see that the currency is devaluing and you know that you are going somewhere. The question is, what should you be doing? Do you understand? But on the other hand, it doesn't strengthen. It's almost like we are the ones destroying ourselves when we save in another currency because we are indirectly weakening our own currency. So whilst it might be a solution, I will not be the one to tell you to do it. But I'll tell you that when you set your goals and your goals involve anything that requires exchange rates, your goals will tell you what you should be doing. That is how I will put it. I will not say don't do or do. I would say set your goals, then start working back. If you want your child to be going to a school to start preschool at 5 in the UK in a private school, you cannot be saving in naira. You understand? That's how decisions are made. You set your own goals. But if your child is going to be here, if everything and you're going to invest in naira and you don't have any ties abroad, then do what you need to do. But your goals will tell you what you should do. So, final words from Gloria. We've actually crossed the 1 hour mark
Yeah.
amazingly.
Okay, final words for me is that I know when we talk about budgeting, planning money generally, people look at it like it's going to be deprivation, right? So I would encourage you that you can, of course, definitely keep aside money for fun, right? So as you're planning for these serious things, as you're saving to invest, keep aside something that you use to flex, you use to enjoy yourself, right? Then also budgeting and planning, really just knowing what's happening with your money would help you to know what discretionary expenses you should reduce or cut out completely so that you have enough money to actually save, right? So the idea of budgeting generally is to help you plan your money and be able to save money, right? So that you can invest. So yeah, that's the final word for me. Budgeting doesn't have to be very uptight. It's not set on stone, but the truth is that you need to start being very intentional about your financial resources so that you can easily achieve the things you set out for yourself. So
Thank
that's it.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gloria. I really appreciate the time that you spent. You would also share the link with me so people can check out your offer, and I'll put it in the description box so anyone can check it out along with the videos that I mentioned, because it's not just one conversation. Um, the journey of your personal finance is the longest journey you will have. It's your life journey. As long as you're alive, you need money. Even if you live to 120, if you live to 120 and you are hungry, that's a bad deal, right? So you need money as long as you're alive. So it's very, very important. And I always tell people, you can't outsource your health and your finances. You have to engage. Nobody can go to the gym and you lose weight. Nobody can eat healthy and it will show on your skin, right? There are just some things that, regardless of how much people support you or people advise you, you have to take the bull by the horn by yourself. Nobody can do it for you. So I always encourage people, yes, outsourcing is the in thing, but this one you can't outsource it. You can't outsource it. Let's take it as serious as possible. So thank you everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you, Gloria, once again. You can say
Thank you
your
for
bye.
bye. Bye all.
Bye. So thank you everyone. I trust this was useful. And I repeat that you can't outsource your health and your finances. You have to engage. So I trust that if you have more questions, you can drop it in the comment section. I will post the links. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share with your friends if you found it very useful. Please do share. And see you in the next session. Bye.